You kind of have to be. You can't choose whether you're live or not. You either are live or you're not live. That's kind of how it works.
Well, technically, you choose. So.
Well, you don't choose. I was talking about you. You don't get to choose. You're live.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You get no. You have no choice. Zero choice, no matter whether he's live or not. So, welcome everybody to the Massive Beers Feats of Strength, which is our version of the 2019 Best of Beer live broadcast. I do my end of beer reviews or beer, what do I call them, rankings of the best beers I've had over the past year. Not best beers I've had. I actually need to reclassify that. Best beers I've reviewed. There's probably beers that I've had that have been like, should be on this list, but if I don't review it, no, it's true. You know what I mean? Sometimes you forget them because you get, I'm going to let you in a little secret. Sometimes if you drink a lot of beer, you get tipsy and you forget them. They can't see. He's like, look at all of this. No one can see all of this. You want to see all of it? Look at that. It's like, holy shit, motherfucker, what are you doing right now? Anyway, so we're going to be running down my favorite beers of 2019 that I reviewed, and we're going to go over that in hopefully short order. We'll cover those, and then what we'll do is we'll talk a little bit, we'll chat a little bit, we're going to drink some beers, we're going to pop some bottles, if you will, get all crazy up in this piece. I think that's what the kids say nowadays. I don't know. Lit. Oh, yeah, with no E, because that would be late, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and then we will kind of stop, regroup real quick. That means take a bathroom break. And then we'll come back and we'll do our best shelfies because everybody loves the shelfie videos. It's like my favorite one to do and people dig them. So it's going to be a little bit rambling. It's not going to be as tight and concise as the end of beer videos I've done in the past because those have been produced. I've recorded stuff and then kind of done a lot of editing. I did not want to do that this year. I just wanted to hang out and have a little bit of fun, drink a couple beers, hang out with some friends. That's what we're going to do. So what I'm doing right now is installing, because this is called preparation. You should do the shit beforehand. I'm installing Google Sheets, which is where I, what's the word I'm looking for? Accumulated, tabulated. That sounds like a fancy word. That's like from Star Trek from the 80s. Tabulated all the best beers I've had over the past year. I'm not going to do like a 1 through whatever. I'm going to do 30 beers. There's not going to be any kind of classification. I will probably kind of speak to the beer a little bit and be like, well, this is one of my more favorite hoppy beer, malty beer, or whatever. But I'm not going to do like 1 to 10. Or 1 to 30 or 30 to 1 or any of that shit. I'm just going to basically rattle off which ones I really dug, give a little bit of a snippet of why I dug it. Ask Keith if he had it. If he did, he's going to tell me I'm an idiot or I'm right because ultimately that's what Keith does. And then just scoop that over a little bit, and then go from there. So we'll see what's what. So we have the Google Sheets has been downloaded and installed. So let's dive into it. First things first. And I always like to talk about this stuff for a little bit before I actually get into the video because we want people to kind of join in. We already have, a little bit of comments. We have Will Gatling kind of commenting, saying, "Great, fantastic channel. Keep up the good work." Thank you very much, brother. Really appreciate it. We have 9 people viewing right now, but we like to give people a little bit of time to kind of jump into the conversation, jump into things. So, do you want to talk about anything before we dive into this? You want to talk about 450 North again, real quick? I've talked about it a couple times. Give your thoughts on 450 North. What do you think? Because Keith knows.
I don't care.
Speak up.
I don't really care about 450 North.
Let me ask you this: have you had one of those sashis?
No.
Exactly. There you go. So Keith does not give a fuck. Much the same as I do. You know what I mean?
I did think it was interesting that a brewery that brews professionally wouldn't consider that brewing a beer and then adding a bunch of fruit puree into it would not affect the ABV. But, I mean, what do I know? I'm not a professional in anything.
Well, my favorite thing, and we'll cut to this real quick. Not that I want to cover this, because I covered this actually loosely on both my my St. Bernardus bottle share and my my airing of grievances. I covered them both on there. But the only thing I really want to touch on was a statement from the brewery. They released a statement. They had to release a statement. The part that bothered me about the statement that they released was this. They started off the statement saying, in 2012, we set out as a family with a passion for craft beer when we opened the doors to our now small by comparison brewery and pizzeria. Over the past 7 years, many things have changed. Through the changes, our focus has shifted from simply making good quality beer to pushing the boundaries of what beer can be. So that was probably the weirdest portion of the show, is saying I'm here to make good beer, and then I'm like, well, that's not my goal anymore. My goal now is to do weird shit. Like, that was like an odd, just weird kind of take to have. And then they got to go through it, and there's other weird shit they have in there saying basically, as Keith said, they brewed beer and then they added addition to it, and that diluted the beer. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, they teach you that shit in kindergarten. So, and the other big thing was they're just like, well, with that in mind, we're just not going to put ABV on the label. So it's like, I just won't put the ABV on the label. So that fucking fixes everything. Like, nah, fuck it. We don't need, if it's not there, if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. So I'm sure there's more to it. And as you guys have heard from me kind of talking about this in the past couple of days, because as you guys have heard over the past, it's like been a week. I'm so old. I've been talking about it so long. Is that it's just everybody does this shit. Like, it's almost like any of these breweries that make these beers are probably doing the same exact thing. Like, it's just they got caught. Some rando dude who has some kind of, I don't even know what it would be called, a beerometer. I don't know what the fuck that, like an alcohol testing machine where they can centrifuge out and actually test the alcohol. The dude just chose 450 North. If he picked up a fucking, a Veil or a fucking Answer or any of those beers, they're probably in the same boat. So it's not that big of a fucking deal. I'm not going to worry about it all that much. So
yeah, but the other ones say that you have to keep it cold or it will explode, which means they're not adding it after the fact, making sure that the beer is fully fermented.
That's not true.
No?
No.
I'm not a professional. No. I have no idea.
No, no. Yeah. I'm not either. You won't hear that at all. But yeah, like yeast can live. So if you ferment a beer and then you add any kind of fermentable sugars after fermentation, if any of that yeast is still alive, then it can still pick back up and re-ferment. Yeah. So the only way you can actually get a beer that doesn't explode in the can is to basically do what Bourbon County does with their beers, which is pasteurize it. Yeah. So you're going to kill it off. There's some breweries that do that. There's like other half does it. I believe the Veil does it now. They're Tasties. There's some brewery that actually. So unless you're pasteurizing it, there's no way to curb secondary fermentation. So it is what it is. Before we jump into the list here real quick, what are we drinking? We were drinking a Fox Farm Pebble, which comes courtesy of Max, who's in the comment section, who actually said, hey, short, quick, to the point. Well said, Keith. That's the only time that'll be said tonight. Keith being referenced as positive. This might be on next year's best of list. Let's put it that way. It did not suck. So thank you very much, Max. Let's see. Jason chimed in. Always looking forward to the end of year videos. Love the live format. Cheers, Matt. Well, I'm actually pretty pumped that people dig it. So it's, it thought it would be a fun thing to do and just an easier way for me from sitting down and actually editing all the videos. I'm shitty at so many things. Like, I'm horrible at so many things. But if I'm going to sit here and say one thing I'm decent at is talking without fucking up too much. So live format works for me a little bit. We have Kent Beer Reviews chiming in. Would say hi. What's going on, brother? Craig in the chat. We have Will Gatling saying, do you think about Flying Dog Brewery? What do you think about Flying Dog Brewery? I mean, they're Flying Dog Brewery. They're kind of like, what do you think, Flying? I mean, Flying Dog Brewery is kind of like the same way I think about who is. Flying Dog Brewery is like a brewery that got bought by AB InBev but didn't. You know what I mean? Like they're just like kind of like an old school, cheesy, old guard brewery.
I do like picking up some of their weird stuff because I think they do good weird stuff.
They do good weird stuff, but then they also do stuff like Raging Bitch, which is like, you know, in today's PC world, not a lot of people dig on. And, you know, if you're gonna have derogatory labeling and stuff like that, people won't dig on it. So it is what it is. I had a good friend of mine work for them for a little bit, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that I hated them, but at the same time, I don't love them. So it's like, let's put it this way: when's the last time you purchased a Flying Dog beer?
3-4 years ago.
I can't remember. I don't know if I've ever bought a Flying Dog beer. I'm sure I've had. You know what I mean, in the past, especially maybe in a mix of six. If I was pulling like mix of six or stuff out. But I really didn't drink much of their beer to begin with, and the only time I really started drinking a decent amount of their beer was when I had a friend who's one of their reps, and he would just drop cases of beer on me every now and then. But it is what it is. So, yeah. Their beer's not bad. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say they're a decent brewery. They make good beers, but it's not a brewery that I look at. You know what I mean? Let's put it this way. There's a couple different ways you can approach beer. When I approach beer, I do it a couple different ways. I'm either looking for newness, impact, or drinkability. Those are kind of the more basic themes of all beer. So if I'm looking for newness, I'm not going to pick up Flying Dog because that's oldness. I'm looking for impact. Probably not going to go there because I wouldn't relate kind of ingenuity. When I think of impact, I think of like new school, like trying something new, even though you said they do new, weirder stuff. But I'm like pushing the envelope kind of stuff. They do weird stuff. Just because you do weird stuff doesn't mean you make good stuff. And whatever the third one wasn't them either. Drinkability. So, you know, either if I'm going to, to boil it down to like a super basic, I'm either going to go for a Pilsner lager, or I'm going to go for like some crazy adjunct hazy or fucking stout, or I'm going to go for like a foodie beer, like a carton beer with like fucking truffles and saffron or some kind of weird shit like that. So I don't really drink them all that much. What about you? Flying Dog. How often do you buy them? We already covered that. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
Next up we have Tommy Solarski. So I'm going to butcher everybody's name. Solarskis? How do you say that? Solarskis?
Yeah.
Okay. They have actually said ABV will be on a label starting in 2020. So there you go. A little bit of insight from Tommy chiming in. I'm sure they will. They'll have to test bed everything out, make sure everything's kind of going in line and stuff like that. But for the meantime, they're going to remove it. Listen, a little tongue-in-cheek humor going on here, so we're not taking this all that seriously. Pitbull, the Pitbull Beer Master. Not sure whether to be intrigued or scared. There we go. Okay. This mouse sucks. I think I accidentally hit the back button for you guys, so I will try not to do that again. Okay. So I think this mouse is fucked up. There's these little buttons over here. If you guys don't know, this mouse being fucked up. If I hit these little buttons over here, it kind of makes the browser go back. I don't know why this was happening. So I have disconnected that fucking thing. I'm using a different mouse now. So we'll see. Well, Homolachi again, Hachimalachi. We're gonna call you Hachimalachi down here. I'll click on that. Just as that's Hachimalachi, right? You know what Hachimalachi is? Oh, fuck me. He was saying it's better than Go Black. LOL. That's more me than the internet, so hopefully that works itself out. I think this mouse is okay. Something basically the back browser was being clicked, so I apologize for inconvenience. Back to Pitbull Masters. It's probably going to brew up a crazy beer sometime in January, maybe March at the latest. Well, there you go. Love me some homebrew. Send me some. Aaron, post the weight. Man, I think people are making up names just to fuck with me now at this point. You can get hop creep and heavily dry hop beers too. The hops contain enzymes that will liberate fermented sugars, resulting in overcarbing. Not even just overcarbing. You can have, off flavors, the acetal. Those things kind of come to an head because of hop creep. Max is chiming in. Sure, we don't get the fancy editing and planning for the annual best of videos, but we get Keith. Actually, that's value added. Value added. Part of the Six Sigma fucking portion of the show. Yeah, shut up, Max. Don't hurt Mert. That's an easy name. I can get down with that shit. Sup, son? Fine with me. Okay, Hachimalachi. And last but not least, we have Will Gatling going. I'm not sure if I'm saying this right, but what is the highest ABV IPA beer you've tasted? Are you talking about hops, Will? I assume that's what you're talking about, the highest IPA, like highest hop content, like highest IBU, like amount of hop perception. I mean,
Or ABV.
No, I think I don't know if he's asking for the highest ABV IPA or the highest hop forward IPA. So let's put it this way: they're probably both the same. They're probably 120 from Dogfish Head. So that's going to be your highest ABV IPA. It's probably going to be your most hop forward IPA, especially really fresh. More than not, when people drink those beers, they have a little bit of time on them, so it tempers a little bit of the hops. The only beer that I would say would go beyond that hop-wise one might be like Mickler's 1,000 IBUs, which is like crazy hop forward. So it'd be one of those beers. Let's put it that way. Okay. Let's dive into this list because we're already fucking 17 minutes deep and we actually haven't named one fucking beer. So this list, like I said, is not going to be in top 30 to 1. We're going to do 30 beers and it's going to be 30 to 1. It's going to be actually in the order of the beers that I reviewed them. There might be a little bit of variance. It's just, I went through my list. I have my sweet Google sheet, Excel sheet here, and we'll go through what's what. First things first, I know Keith likes this one. Number 30, it's Enkeler Schleckler. It's their Helles Lager. I know have you had that before? And let me show you a picture. I'll see if we can bring it up.
Wait, what is it?
Enkeler Schleckler.
Oh.
Which used to be only in bottles.
Oh, that's on your top list?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy.
I do have a little influence here.
Or do I have the influence?
I don't know.
Actually, why is this not coming out with a picture? God damn it.
Anklers spelled differently.
Yeah, but usually it autocorrects. Let's see how. There we go. I think we're on the right path now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is one of my favorite beers that I reviewed this year. I mean, I should probably put this in the shelfie category, but I wanted to have a tight and tidy 30 best ofs and then 10 shelfies. So this, I shuffled some from the best ofs to the shelfies and back forth. And I think this isn't a best of shelfie. This is just a fantastic beer. It's for those who don't know, the Eka Schlenkler Brewery is known for their smoked lagers. They are known for their Marzen, their Doppelbock, their smoked lagers, and then they do their Marzen, which is their lager, without smoked malt. But the brewery is so old that the yeast imparts the smokiness on it, which scientists, people that are smarter than these two guys, say that's not possible. Well, go shut your mouth because it's possible because it's there. So, yeah, that would be my first one. Next one up would be Genesee Brewery Cream Ale with strawberry and lemon. That was kind of like my summer, like basic crusher. Like if I wanted to drink something out while I was working or whatever, it was Genesee cream ale, basically, with lemon and strawberry. Did you have one of those this year? Did I give one of those to you? Strawberry lemon cream ale from Genesee. Not Natter Days.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, he might not have liked it, but I liked it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was worthy of being on this list because I just enjoyed the shit out of that beer. So, hey, whatever. Suck it, Keith. You're not going to like everything on this list, so deal with it. Oh, for those that don't know, we have the sweet Festivus poll back there. You have to have the Festivus poll when you do Festivus, so we had to make sure that was on screen. Let's see. Next up. This came courtesy, and I should probably have written down who sent me these beers to call them out, but probably. I think this was Justin. It could be wrong. Justin from Chicago sent me Moody Tongue Brewing Bourbon Barrel Aged Gingerbread Imperial Stout. Gingerbread Imperial Stout. Okay. Maybe not my favorite adjunct gingerbread. Ginger is not my favorite thing in the world, but just something about this beer. I don't know what it was. Go back and watch the review. I just love this beer. It was motor oil thick. It was thick. It was like you do not want this beer grinding and choosing your couch. It was that thick and dark and rich. It was absolutely fantastic. And honestly, more often than not, when you dive into a beer for the first time, you have a weird kind of mixture of like high expectations and low expectations. You're not sure whether you're going to love it or hate it. And you're like, okay, hopefully it's great, but if it's okay, then it's my first time I've ever having this brewery. This beer's awesome, and it's way above what I would expect from a brewery I ever had before. So I love that. Moody Tongue definitely makes the list for me. Anybody out there in Chicagoland? Justin? I think it was. I'm probably right on that, actually. I'm weird at recalling randomness. Thank you very much. Send me more. And 2, so Keith can have one. Anyway, this was a shelfie, too. This is another shelfie that made the list. And here's the weird part about it is I posted 2 reviews of the same exact beer in the same span of time. And it was a Smith J Brewing. It was their Calvado Cask Reserva. It was a brandy barrel-aged Belgian spiced dark. I think I drank one with you.
Yes.
So I drank 3 of them. So I bought 1 bottle that was like, I reviewed it and I was like, this is crazy awesome. And I opened another one with Keith and it was good, but it wasn't like the first one. And then I bought another one just to review it so I could do 2 reviews of the same beer. And it was good. It was okay. That first one, whatever the first one, what kind of hoodoo magic that thing had going on was absolutely bonkers deliciousness. Like, it was fucking amazing, delicious. It was rich and just, yeah. My butthole was just like singing all kinds of songs of happiness and of deliciousness, man. It was so good. Oh, I loved it so much.
I like the one that I had.
Well, that's the part. Is that the one that we had was really good, but it was the other one was like epic status. It was like, oh my god! It made it like when I was going through my list. When I go through like to give you guys the old grand tour in my list here, you see color coding. Basically, typically what I would do on my beer reviews, as I block Keith's face for fun, is I'll go through all my beers and I'll color code them, be like, which one's my favorite malt and hops and barrel and funk and all that fun stuff. And I decided to do that, but it was like I'm scrolling through doing my whole list. And some beers I'm like, okay, I'll include that in like the first preliminary round, and then we'll get on to the next one. That I went to that, I'm like, yes, and then just move on next. There was no thought process in that involved. I was like, yes. Now I'm in the next one. You know what I mean? That's how. And then usually I whittle it down to like 50. And then at 50, I whittle it down more to where I feel like, okay, I really shouldn't be whittling it down anymore. And that's kind of where this kind of came out. So yeah, that was a bonkers beer. Another one from Justin was Brickstone Brewing is their Dark Secret Bourbon Barrel and Maple Aged Imperial Stout. Brickstone Brewery is weird enough is I'd never heard of them before. And I did the review, and if you actually go and look at the review, like I kind of make fun of the label before I open it because it kind of looked like the heads-up display from like Killzone or something. Like it looked like basically like a video game heads-up display, and I was like, this is cheesy. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it was like 12-ounce can. I was like, 12-ounce can from a random brewery I never heard of before. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Poured it, and I'm like, okay, my nipples are hard. This is fucking delicious. So yeah, it was one of those beers from a brewery. You know, it's kind of fucking dug it. You know, I mean, that's what this list is all about. So no shit, Sherlock status there. But it was just well done, and coming from a brewery that was actually like really kind of like a tiny small brewery. Like it was like I looked it up and they're like they have like a pizza oven and they're a restaurant and they're just like it's a boutique brewery. It's not like a bigger brewery. So it was kind of cool to see something that cool and that developed. I mean, Chicago's got their barrel age game on lock. Like they do a ton of great barrel age stuff out in Chicago in general, in Chicago land area. So it wasn't a surprise from that aspect to get that level of a barrel aged beer, not just from Brickstone, but from Moody Tongue, which is pretty fucking awesome. Next up, this is actually a beer I won in my beer league. Like last year, not this past year, but the year before, I was in a good beer fantasy football league, and I dominated because that's what I do. Except for this year where I sucked. And I got like the one beer league I was in. Just my beard doesn't look right. And the one beer league I was in is like crazy. Like it was a crazy fantasy football beer league, and there was 12 teams. And if you won the league, basically what it was 6 people have to give you a box of $50 worth of beer. So you got 6 $50 boxes of beer. And that $50 accounted for brewery cost, not secondary cost. So, Cantillons are, you buy Cantillon, it's $8. So if someone gave you Cantillon, they can't say, oh, that's a $50 bottle of beer. No, it's $8. You know what I mean? That's what it was. Hill Farm said, oh, here's a Hill Farm said civil disobedience. That's the $50 bottle of beer. No, not really. That's the $16 bottle of beer. Sorry. It's only $16. So you get a decent amount of beer. And this one came in from, who the fuck gave me this one? I forget who gave it to me. Of all the boxes that I won for my dominance. And it was awesome. I mean, Jester King's fantastic in general. I actually probably have one of their beers coming down in a review not too long from now, the Varium. That was absolutely fantastic. But it's not going to be posted in this year's. But that one was absolutely great. I fuck up the name of the beer like 19 times, which is awesome. So that in and of itself is fantastic. So I love that beer. Sticky bullshit. So we're going to crack open a little hazy. Oh, hazy says. Actually, you know what? It's not hazy. It's West Coast hazy. Yeah, that's why I picked this one. I'm curious. West Coast?
I was kidding.
I was opening this for Keith. This is a Pariah Brewing Pine, one of my favorite labels. I should do my favorite labels on here. That's actually something I should do, but look at that. Look at how fucking fantastic that fucking label is. It's even better now when I put it over here. You don't see Keith's face. There you go. But yeah. Comments real quick. We have Pitbull chiming in saying back in November, Carolina Reaper and Pineapple local coffee cider with Honeycrisp apple. It's called No American Pitbull Hog. You're doing crazy shit down there, Pitbull. Don't hurt Mert. Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, I pulled it out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
How do you even spell that? I don't know. I just act like I know how to say it. And worst brewery out of Chicago is Finch. Okay, there you go. So comments are down. Oh yeah. Piney. Bittering. What do we have next? This is a really cool beer that I had, and it was a collaboration. I went out to Jester King Brewing Free Will Brewing out in Perkins, CPA to visit my buddy. My buddy was working out there, CJ, and I went out to visit him. While I was there, just kind of randomly bumped into Sellerman, and we just kind of went down in the basement and started chugging beers. And he sent me home with some stuff, and it was Free Will Brewing. It was their collaboration with a new brewery that is like just opening outside in Atlantic City. They're called The Seed, and it was their some kind of potion, wine barrel aged mixed culture saison. Shit is good. Like real good. I mean, I didn't have anything from The Seed. Obviously, I don't even know if they're open yet, but they're obviously producing beers out into the wild. as far as open going to visit the brewery. And they did a couple collaborations with a couple different people, and this was one of them. And I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Free Will is known for doing a bunch of different kind of beers, really tasty beers, really fun beers, hazy stouts, all kind of barrel aged stuff. Their Ralpheus is one of the better barrel aged stouts that you can get in the area. But this was just, the saison tip. It was absolutely fantastic. Were you here?
I think I was.
You might have been here for that one.
I don't know if I don't remember it because.
Well, it was also shelfie. You could pick it up because I think you could still pick up a bottle of this at what's the place? Stockertown. I think still has bottles of it. So some of these beers are shelfies, and like I said, you can actually go and get some of these still. So that's some kind of potion you can still find it on a shelf. And I'll let you know a little secret. That's not going to be a bad beer to pick up even months and months, a year later. Like, it's still going to be really tasty stuff. So don't expect all of these beers to be like, okay, this is the shit I can never find in my life. Like the Schlinkler Lager you can find, the Moody Tongue you can find, Smith's J you can find, or no, Moody Tongue you can find out in Chicago. Let's keep it to like relatively big distribution. Smith's J, Calvado Cast, sure, the age you might not be able to find, but you'd be able to find that. Chester King, I doubt you'd be able to find that. Free Will you could find. Some of these can be found. So just saying. So yeah, I love that beer. One I actually skipped. This is actually supposed to be right after the Schleckler beer. But I'll bring it up now, is East End Brewing's Gratitude Barley Wine, 2016. For those that are fans, what?
Nothing.
What are you going to say? What are you thinking? Say it.
Favorite beer of 2019 is the 2016.
No, favorite beer I reviewed in 2019.
Yeah, no.
What?
No. Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's not my favorite beer from 2016. These are the beers that I covered on my channel in 2019.
You keep talking about shelfies. I got confused.
Amateur hour.
I got confused. I was confused for a second.
This is another beer.
That was me. That was on me.
This is another beer I got from my fantasy football beer haul. It came from my buddy Jerry. For those that are fans, you might have heard of a guy named Don't Drink Beer. And when Don't Drink Beer started to get relatively popular, which is probably only about a year or so ago. Like, he was popular beforehand when he started revealing his face and started to do Instagram and all that shit. That's like when he really got popular. Right before that happened, his all-in beer, like the beer that he kind of trumpeted crazy, like, which is really weird because he's from the West Coast, was East End Brewing's Gratitude. That was like his jam because he was like, barley wine is life. This is a barley wine. That was the one that he really kind of hammered home. And it's fucking awesome. It's an American barley wine, so there's a big spicy bittering component to it. But it's fucking fantastic, especially with some time on it. No shit, Sherlock. Old barley wine's delicious. Of course it is. But yeah, I love that beer. And to get one in a beer box and be able to review it is fantastic. They have some of the coolest labels, too. On the old, let's see if I can bring it up. I'm sure there's someone that, like, put screenshots up here, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so we'll do it old school style. But it's like one of the coolest. The one I reviewed wasn't this way. I can't talk and type at the same time.
Are you at least gonna put a list up for your fans?
A list of what?
Of your beers.
No. Why would I do that?
Because then they'd have to watch the whole thing.
That's the point. That's the fucking point, dude. If I put a list up, everybody else just look at the list.
So no, I mean like after the fact.
No, even after the fact. I want them to go back and watch. Watch this shit. Put in the time, son. Put in that time. Anyway, the Gratitude labels are fucking super fucking cool. My buddy Anthony's texting me. There's probably something heinous, so hopefully somebody didn't screenshot that shit. And this is recorded in perpetuity, so hopefully it's not horrible. Anyway, they do this kind of. This is all like paper. Like, actually, like, glued the paper wrap to it. It's one of the cooler fucking labels I've ever seen. Let's see what Anthony texted me.
Was that the one that you had? Is that one of the ones you got?
No, I got the non-paper wrap one. I just wanted to talk about the paper wrap one. And my buddy said he needed blade racks for his barbershop, so we're in good shape. Didn't write like he's like at my birthday. He just sends me pictures of penises. It's like just that's what he does. So there you go. You guys got the normal. Wait a minute, right now. I got to talk about this. Well, let's jump to here. We have Joe from Beer Patrol saying he loves him some Keith.
Oh, I love me some Joe.
That's what I'm talking about, brother. We have fucking off the 10th in the house. Little Chris Lizak jumping in. We have Craig saying hey to everybody. Back and forth. But here's my favorite part. We have Pitbull Beer Master talking about beers, and then we have Alex, the Beer Master. Is there going to be a fight? Like, are we going to have Who's the Master? Like, it's Who's the Master. It's like fucking, what is that?
Highlander?
No! Who's the
one?
Master?
Oh.
No, who's your master? It's fucking Bruce Leroy from fucking Enter. You don't know fucking Bruce Leroy with Show Enough? And it's like, oh my God, what's that fucking movie again?
I have no idea.
Oh God, I'm gonna look it up real quick. Bruce Leroy. It's like Dragons. Enter the Dragon. It's not Enter the Dragon because it's The Last Dragon. That's what it is. So The Last Dragon is like, it's like a modern day like blaxploitation film, with like that's based off of karate. So this guy's like the Bruce Lee character, and this is like the guy that tries to kill him. That's shown enough. And then he keeps going, who's the master? There it is, Jerome with The Last Dragon. He knows what he's talking about. Last Dragon, son. Yeah, that's a great movie. I'm gonna have to watch that later. So anyway, back to the list because this is gonna take forever. Next up, we have actually this is the funny part. This beer's on the list. Yeah, Smilex, one of the better hazies I've had. And it was on a list, like Keith a test. I brought this list up and I didn't even think about it, but I got these beers today from Pride. Pride sends me beers, full disclosure. And they sent me this. I got this today. Like, I didn't know I was doing this list, but this is probably one of the better hazies I've had all year long. Nothing wrong with loving some hazies. You gotta love all beer. Don't hate on the hazies, people. Don't hate on them. Anyway, so that's an list. Beer. And we'll open this up and talk about it real quick, and I'll see if Keith agrees. Ross beer? Well, fuck Ross beer. Next up, we have Hop Butchered and Arcane Distilling. It was their Traveling Scientist Galaxy.
Oh, that was good.
That was good. It wasn't as good as the original Traveling Scientist, though.
Oh, that's not the original one?
No, this is the second one they sent me. Oh. And the first one I did was on last year's list.
Oh. They were both good.
They were both absolutely epically fantastic. But this one, even though I like the other one better, this one was absolutely 1,000% worth being on this list. I put this one on here, and this might have been should have been on Shelfies, but I put it in here anyway. When I went out to, it was February, I went out to New York, and I stayed with my buddy Brad, and I did a podcast with a brewery called Torch and Crown. And one of the beers they actually brought with them, and I took it home and I reviewed it, was their Sub Rosa Lager. And it was basically an oak. I think it was an oak aged lager, like a foeder lager. I believe it was. I could be wrong on that. Actually, it might just be a base lager. No, you know what? It is a base lager, but it gave me like oaky tones to it, and I just love that beer. Like every time I get out in the New York area, I pick up a 4-pack or a couple 4-packs of that and bring it back and chug it. I've never given Keith any because I hoard it all for myself. But yeah, I love that beer. It was absolutely fantastic. So I had to put it on a list because I just dug it. Let's see what we have next. Ripping through these. We have Hill Farmstead Civil Disobedience 21. Yeah, that was one of the beers I got from. Actually, here, I'm going to let full disclosure. I don't know if it's 21 or 22 I loved. Because I didn't go back and watch the video. I just know one of them I loved crazy. So I was like, fuck it. It's probably 21. So if I'm wrong, if you go back and watch the video and you're like, dude, you didn't even like 21, go watch 22. That's the one I like. Or vice versa, whatever it is. One of those two, it's actually two of the beers I got from my beer fantasy football league, and they were fucking awesome. You know, I mean, there was probably, what did we get when we went to Hill Farms at 26? 26. So was 21? It's got to be what, 2 years old probably at this point? Yeah. So I had a couple years on it. It was absolutely fantastic. Good. Fantastic beer. Let's dive into these comments because we got a little bit of shit going on right now. So because people are talking shit. So Alex, I didn't say what's up. I just kind of made fun of you having a battle with the other master. You have Jerome dropping a holas. We have Electric Beard saying cheers. What's up, son? Last Dragon, of course. What is up, Alan? Who's Alan? Anal? Alan? Somebody here is named Alan. No master debate, please. Are you trying to make it like a masturbation joke here? I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, love the cane art. Yes, Pariah. Joker, can art, fantastic. A lot of people do this because they're like, look at me, I'm cool, I'm fucking Joker. But fuck those people.
You just do that.
Yeah, but to make fun of those people. Yeah.
Still
Don't hurt Merc said we love all beers except sours. LOL. You are wrong. Say no to sours. You are wrong. Electric Beer says sours are good. You are right. There you go. We have some people that know what they're talking about. Hey, Matt, did you ever have the Wawa Coffee Stout? Because I have a wine and I haven't tried it yet because I have wine. Did you mean to write one? One? Because I have one? Because that doesn't make sense. Because it's like, because I have wine. Like, just because you have wine, that affects the Wawa Coffee Stout. I'm assuming you mean one.
Why would you drink beer when you could drink wine?
Yeah. I have not had it. I tried to find one when it first came out, like last year or earlier this year. Just because I was like, fucking Wawa, baby. I was like, fuck yeah. But, yeah. I don't get down Berks County or down towards Philly all that much. And I'm just not going to seek that shit out. So, that's what it is. Yeah, he said, yeah, I meant to have one. Yeah. When you had wine, though, that's the weird part about it is it said wine because I have wine. Be like, I have a coffee beer and I have wine. And you're like, fucking weird. Anyway, and then Hatchy Malachi says, sours seem to be similar gateway as IPAs. You need to have a few to warm up. Then you love them. Well, here's the problem with sours. Is that the word sour isn't descriptive or definitive enough. Like to say sour is like, I like IPA. There's so many different kind of IPAs. There's West Coast, there's East Coast, there's old school, there's new school, there's hazies, there's crazy hazies, there's fucking all kinds of different IPA. And you can talk about that with any other thing. So to say sour is like, okay, what kind of fucking sour? So when a lot of people get into sours, they go, I don't like sours because maybe somebody gave them a Cascade sour, which is like trying to like peel enamel off your fucking teeth.
I'm gonna bring one of those.
Yeah, or maybe they had a sour that was like a Berliner Weiss that wasn't sour at all, and they're like, I don't like that. So there needs to be a deeper definition of sours in order for people to really kind of be able to talk about them a little bit more. Like when you get like when you're like the upper echelon beer nerd, where you're just so into it that you're an asshole, like these guys and mostly you guys, you kind of understand the difference between sours, so you can start talking about mixed culture and this and that, and acidity and lactic acid and fucking, all the different bits and pieces of sour. But it's a little bit of a learning curve.
Some of that stuff isn't sour.
No,
it's just
funky. Yeah. So that's the thing. There needs to be a better kind of compartmentalizing box to put each one in for people to really grasp them. You'll see that actually happen over the next couple of years because that's what's going to happen. People are going to be a little bit. Two things are going to happen. Let's do this real quick. Let's take a break. Give me a prediction. What you think is going to be, what's going to happen to beer moving forward? Do you have a prediction as far as like something specific that you think will happen with beer?
I've been seeing a lot more stuff in like non-alcoholic beer. As far as I know, you did a review recently. Mystery beer athletic. Yeah. I saw something about some brewery I think it was in California. I think they did a bourbon barrel aged stout, non-alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah. I was gonna get one for you, but they sold out. So, but yeah, that seems to be up and coming things.
I have a wild prediction. I think you're going to see a bunch of breweries close.
I can see that.
Not this year, but over the next couple of years. Why? And this is totally going to fucking happen. This is my big prediction for anybody out there if they want to like be like, okay, tell me some crazy shit that's going to happen. So every single brewery, at least that I know, every brewery that makes beers like this, like super haze, what do they do? Or what do they want to do? They want to make lager. They want to make saison. Like everyone I know. Like, whether it be, not to call people out, but it doesn't matter. Think of a hazy brewery. They make all these hazies, and then on the side, they make all this try to make mixed culture, Berliner. Like, they try to make, like, table beer.
I can only think of a handful of breweries that don't make hazies just to stay open.
Well, here's the thing. This is my prediction, is that a crazy portion of these hazy producing breweries also make saison. They want to make it. Not that they make it, but they want to make saison. They want to make table beer.
Yeah.
They want to make like mixed culture beer. That's what they want to do. All of those breweries are going to make those things. And then what they're going to do, and this is why it's a long-term kind of issue thing, what's going to happen is all these hazy breweries that everybody loves so much is going to start making saison, mixed culture beer, fucking lager, pilsner. They're going to slowly convert all their fans, because that's what breweries are now. They're like rock bands. They have fans and everybody treats. And then all those fans, and this kind of jumps off of my airing of grievances to where people graduate from loving hazies to hating hazies. They're like, I love them, and then they all of a sudden hate them. And it's like, can't you like both at the same time? And then what they're going to do is they're going to set themselves up for their own demise, because they're going to be like, oh, wait, I was making a beer that took 2 weeks from brewing to packaging that made me $9 million. And now I've told everybody they should just drink a beer that takes a year and a half from fucking ferment to fucking bottle, to where they're going to be like, fuck, what did I do? They're like, I was making $160,000 every 2 weeks, but now I'm making $90,000 every year. Like, that's going to fucking happen. Like, all these beers are like, lager's life. And fucking, mixed saison, mixed culture shit is the best shit in the history of mankind. You realize that takes like 6 months as opposed to 2 weeks. So all these breweries that are making these kind of beers are like, when they post on their Instagram or whatever it is, let's go Instagram for the sake of conversation, and their Instagram feed, like of just pictures, it's all their hazies. But if you go in their stories, they're drinking like Bach Rider or Cantillon, and like, this is what we drink when we're not, this is what makes us cool, because we drink this shit when we're not making that stuff, and we're going to be making this stuff, so you guys are going to think we're cool, and then they're going to be like, we're fucked, because we just told everybody, pay half the price for the thing that takes 9 times longer. That's my prediction moving forward, is that all these breweries are going to fuck themselves, unless they set themselves up with a tap room and shit like that, and they can get around it. So anyway, here we go. Comments before we get back to the list. Let's see. Where do we see? Say no to sours. We have, hey man, you ever tried Wall coffee? No, I haven't. I still do. Cheers off the 10th. We have Alex Beer Best. Yes, it's one. I have one. Sours seem similar to Gateway IPAs. We covered that. Sours are definitely ones that acquire taste. That is true. And then we have Keith. I mentioned about Keith. Keith, did you ever play a cop on TV? Reminds me of a B-list actor whose name I never remember. Say yes to sours.
I have not.
Yeah. Who does he look like? Who does Keith look like? A cop. Keith. We don't want to talk about Keith's love for cops on this show. Let's keep that doing our own thing. But Keith kind of looks like the guy from Entourage for me for a little bit. Just a little bit. Adrian Grenier. Drums like Alex the Beer Master. Are you talking about the 2SP stout? That's what he is talking about. It would be very cool if you had your own television show. Fuck yeah, someone pay me a fucking $1 billion. I'll do it right now. Bourbon Barrel Age NA. How is that possible?
I have no idea.
It's called magic.
I saw it on the internet.
We need Keith's top 5. We're gonna get a Keith's top 5 at the end of this. He probably doesn't realize it, but it's fucking
I'm
happening.
gonna have to
Start thinking.
I'm sure my top 5 are probably somewhere in this. I have a couple in my head, but I don't.
Alex is saying it's nice to talk to you. Talk to you later. I assume that means you're tapping out, Alex. Thank you for stopping by. Max, totally agree with man about a ton of breweries closing. Survival of the fittest. It's not so much that the breweries are going to close. You're always going to have breweries open and close. It's so much that breweries are going to pushing this idea of like lager and mixed firm, and they don't realize what it takes to do that. And the facilities stay open. I don't think they can keep those facilities open with doing that kind of stuff. Anyway, Tony Williamson dives in. All right, lads. UK beer lover. I often get FOMO. For those that don't know, it's a fear of missing out of a ton of US beers that are rarely making it over to us, at least at accessible price. Do you ever get the same over any UK beers? If so, which? Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, we have probably the same breweries. Like, you look over here and you see, your Trilliums and Treehouses of the world. We see over there, we see Northern Monk and Cloudwater and those kind of breweries and stuff like that. And it'd be really nice to have those beers over here. But the big issue is I'm kind of immune to fear of missing out. Not that I don't want beers. I see it and it'd be like nice to have, but I never really like freak out. Like I have a couple of people in the UK that if I was like, I want to trade for these crazy beers, they would jump at the fucking chomp at the bit to do that and have me send back the beers that they can get. I can do that. I never do because I just don't care. Like if I get it, I get it. But that's also me being 43 years old. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. It is what it is. I'm fucking cool with that. So there is a certain piece of that, and there's some stuff I wish I could get, but in the grand scheme of things, if I'm ever feeling any kind of fear of missing out, it is stuff that is not necessarily those kind of beers. It'll be more like, the sour stuff from Belgium and Bruges and shit like that I'd really be like, okay, I wish I could get more of that. Dutch Beer Geek chiming in. What's up, homie? Electric Beer chiming in. Do you think there are many choices which leads to some who might try craft otherwise to stay with me? Do you think there are too many choices which leads to some who might try craft otherwise to stay with macros? You're just basically saying too many options and it kind of intimidates people. Oh, of course. That's with anything in life. But that's the thing. I don't think you get into beer unless you really dig flavor. You know what I mean? Like, not that there's anything wrong with macro beer. Like, if you like it, that's awesome. Have at it. I'll chug me some fucking Jetty Cream Ale or some High Life, and I can get down with that because it has a flavor I can dig on. And I'm sure there's some people that are just a little bit intimidated by the options and the flavors. But if you really enjoy flavor, and it's something that you choose to explore, some people really like cooking or like the flavor of something food-wise, but don't ever cook or try to dig deeper. It's more flavors, more not a priority to them. And I think that is more the case, or similar the case when it comes to beer. Jerome, Keith looks like a B-list Mark Ruffalo. That fucking is spot fucking on. I look like the lead singer from Smash Mouth, so it is what it is. Yes, he looks like Norm Macdonald. Let's fuck with Keith hour. And Anakin Skywalker. Which one? Like the one where he's already burnt up from the lava, or previous?
Hayden.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen. Magic, I knew it. You know what's magic, son. Keith looks like a poor man's Mark Ruffalo. It's getting worse. Let's see what else. I predict meme popularity will increase. You already see that. I see a lot of people geek out over mead. So, yeah, Mike, I don't know if this video quality or what, but he's giving off some serious Ruffalo vibes. And I took trying Fat Tire, then Midas Touch to branch to more craft. I mean, for me, Fat Tire is like as close as you get to macro without being macro. I mean, it's kind of like macro lager, but macro lager. Midas Touch isn't it Dogfish Head? Yeah. That's like a crazy beer, right?
Yeah, Midas Touch was one of like the first like actual craft beers I had. Before I even but it was like when I was drinking just like whatever beer, and I had that, and then I just went back to drinking regular beer and didn't really get like into craft that much. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I don't even remember it. Like I remember it, but I don't remember what it tastes like. Let's put it that way. And then Tim agrees. So back to the list before you guys start chiming in and go crazy again. Where we leave off, Hill Farms. Oh, number 19. I gave one of these, I think, to you. It's Icarus Brewing. Is there glad to be here? Russian Imperial Stout with honey, cinnamon, coffee, and vanilla in a can. Yeah, that beer's fucking awesome. I mean, I'm a fan of Icarus. I like the beers they do. They do a lot of distro. They do a lot of hazies, but they also do like small little pails. They do a lot of stouts and stuff like that. But they make some really tasty stuff.
I just had their Schwartz beer or dark lager.
Yeah, that's the other thing. They make like Doppelbock and Schwartz beer. Come on, motherfucker.
It's good.
Yeah. There you go. We have Other Half Brewing. This beer is really fucking good. Other half, they're a Gold Strap Woodward Barrel wheat wine. Did you have that?
No. I can't believe you got another half beer from someone else. You've been cheating on me.
Ooh, that beer was fucking awesome. That came to me from Jeff Gordon or Gordon Jeff. I still don't remember how his name fucking goes.
What was that? Was that a stout?
It was a wheat wine. It was so fucking good. It might have been the best barrel aged. If I made a barrel aged beer list, it might be number one. If I did like if I did like a top 10 barrel aged beer, it might be number one. That's how good this fucking beer was. Like, I fucking love it. Let's put it this way. I reviewed that beer. I know Jeff is going to watch this, or Gordon, or whatever fucking name is. His name is Jeff. But anyway, in a review, I said, oh man, I really want one of these to age because I really want to see what it's going to age into. And he sent me another beer mail and put one in there for me to age. Yeah, 2 weeks later, I drank it. I was like, fuck this. I'm fucking drinking this thing. I'm like, I'm not waiting. I'm like, I just need to fucking drink it right now. So that's how good it was. So I was like, I'm not aging this beer. I'm like, it's because I couldn't imagine. I really was curious to see how the beer aged, but I couldn't possibly see it getting better. I was like, it's just too fucking good. So I drank it. Sorry, Jeff. Anyway, what else do we have here? Kelly Green Brewing, Ballard Cherry Saison that I got. So I've done a couple Kelly Green beers over the years. And I've dug a lot of stuff that I've had from them. And this is like right before I went on my trip on my summer vacation. And just something about this beer kind of really did it for me. And this is kind of similar to the Civil Disobedience because I did a couple Kelly Green beers right in a row. There was a cadmium, I think it was called, and then there's this one. I kind of forget which one is. I really went gaga over, so you'd have to go back and watch them. If you watch this one and you're like, oh, he didn't really flip out, go watch the ones right around the same time I posted them. But there was something about it. It was like one of the better kind of sour, funky produced beers that I've had in Jersey as of late, at least up until that time. And I really dug it. So there you go. Next up, we have Jack Yo's. This is the 16th, not number 16, but the 16th. So we're halfway home. Jack Yo's Brewing. It's a Prodigality barley wine, aged 24 months on bourbon barrels. My penis is getting a little hard right now just thinking about it, to be perfectly honest with you. It was so fucking good. It came from a beer mill from Ohio, from somebody I forget. Should have put more time into this. Again, go watch my airing of grievances where I forget names of people that sent me shit because I'm an asshole. So take that for what it's worth. Number 15, it was really hard not to put this my favorite shelfies of the year, but it was too good not to include my favorite beers of the year. And that would be Allagash Tiny House.
Yeah.
You talk about Tiny House, Keith.
Yeah. I bought a 4-pack. It was about 6 months old, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. 3.4%. Sorry. I almost fucked them on some ABVs. 3.4%. It was their table beer, their house beer, which I reviewed last year. I believe was on my list of some of my favorite beers I had last year. This is like a smaller version of that. 3.3 motherfucking 3%, 3.4% alcohol by volume. I just fucking want to drink it all the time, man. Just fucking, it was the king shit of fuck mountain low ABV beer until recently. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I love that fucking beer. Actually, you know what? Next beer is this beer. There's 2 pariahs on here, I think. That's funny. The next one is Pine, the one that we're drinking right now.
Oh. The one that you're drinking right now, because you left me like...
Open this palace. Let me know what you think about it. So, 2 pariah beers make it on here. I did not realize I included both of them. This is one of my favorite hazies of the year. And I'll be perfectly honest with you. There's some beers that could be taken out of here. I'm not saying this because of this beer. Some can be taken out. Some can be put in. The reason why this one really struck me is because it was a West Coast New England style hazy. You don't see that a lot. You either see a West Coast beer, see a hazy beer. This one really did it for me. So we'll see what's what. How's it taste?
I like it.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
rye.
Keith,
There's rye in it, so I love it. There's rye in it, so it's my favorite beer.
Oh. Keith is quickly turning into like a 75-year-old man. He's like, I just like everything that was old. Old-timey flavors. But yeah. So we had that, another pariah on there.
Like this is like super spicy.
He's crazy. Anyway,
Or is it just the greenness?
yeah, it's just a hot presence. I don't think it's spicy. This thing, there's a lot of hot particulate in it, but it's really good. Next up, this I would actually probably put as my favorite hazy. So anybody keeping track, I know I was going to do like my favorite, like number ones, but this is by far and away my favorite double IPA or hazy IPA, period of the whole year. Fox Farm Brewing Double Burst. That beer is so fucking good that should be illegal, or at least classified as like a Class A drug or some shit like that, because it was just absolutely fantastic. I think I reviewed that when I went when I was down in on my vacation. It was just so fucking good. I mean, Fox Farm, you'll see them on this list a couple different times. Actually, coming up immediately next, because like I said, this list is kind of like based on when I reviewed stuff, and I got a bunch of Fox Farm from a couple different people real quick. That it was just by far and away the best hazy. It's so good, so fucking good. And honestly, like I go out of my way not to include a whole crazy amount of the same brewery in these lists. Like I try to, if I see like 5, I'm like, okay, let's whittle it down and take some of those breweries off. I could easily put several more of those beers on there, including this table beer here and this fucking barrel aged stout here. It's just like Fox Farm for everybody. So anyway. Next up, we have their actually Votive, which is a bourbon and wine barrel aged imperial stout. That shit, like really good. And I mean, we're diving into this. We did a side by side of these two that came, and all the stuff. I think all of Fox Farm, not all of it, but most of it has come from Max. We just did these two before we jumped on the air, and this is fucking awesome. But this is fucking like awesome. You can go fuck yourself. That's how awesome that beer is. That's like, oof, good God, that beer is fucking amazing. And let's see, let's get to number 10 and we'll do some comments real quick. So next up, we have 2 Treehouse in a row. We have their very hazy. And I just love hazy. It's probably like, I mean, one of my favorite ones. Very hazy, double IPA, and then we have the Curiosity 71. Curiosity 71. This is much similar to the Hill Farmstead argument that I made earlier. There's a bunch of Curiosities that did in a row, and I know one was really, 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 really fucking good. I'm 90% sure it was 71. But if you go back and watch a review and you're like, oh, okay, he really enjoyed 71, but he wasn't going gaga, just look at the other ones, because I think I did like 68 to like 76 in a row. One of those was awesome. I wasn't going to go back and watch it, so do your homework, motherfuckers. Now, Tom Davis says yes, so chances are that's the fucking one. And that was number 10. So let's dive into the comments, see what people have to say real quick, because we have a decent amount of people chiming in at this point. We're peaking out at about like 20 to 25 people actually watching at a time. We have the Mike, the Russian bot. Great name, actually. Says, older or bad IPAs tried by newbies often drives them back to macro. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but it's also, I think, I think you could say the opposite on the spectrum. I think if you give someone like a hyper fresh IPA that's never had craft beer before, it'd be like, what the fuck am I drinking right now? You know what I mean? It could be the opposite on the spectrum. So let's put it this way. If I had a friend, or let's phrase that even better, of all the friends that have tried to get in a beer, I'm not like one of those people that I'm not like a Jehovah's Witness go knocking on your door trying to convert you. But more often than not, if I have a friend that isn't into beer, I don't really preach to them about beer, but obviously it's going to come up from time to time because we're going to talk about our lives. More often than not, the life cycle of that relationship as far as beer goes is they make fun of me liking beer so much. And then after about, a couple months or even longer, eventually the curiosity gets them and they go, well, if I was going to get in a beer, what would I drink? And then eventually that's like, okay, we'll figure it out. And the first thing I'll do is I'll ask what they drink now. If they drink strictly just macro lager, then what I'll do is I'll ask them what they eat. And then I go in a couple different directions. So if someone's into wine and they like macro lager, maybe I go a little funky, tart, soury thing. It's kind of candy-like or whatever. Okay, fine. But if they're like in the steak and potatoes and they like macro lager, then maybe I go with like a wheat beer. go with like a wheat beer, like a nice old Belgian wheat beer. Hoegaarden, you can even go, or like St. Bernardus wheat beer, because that's like a real easy bridge in the craft beer world, because you're either drinking like a little bit of fruited tastiness or a little bit of banana.
Just go to Suarez.
Yeah, just go to Suarez. There you go.
Take Suarez.
Hey, drive 9 hours to go in the middle of nowhere with me so I can give it as 5% lager. That works really well with all the fucking people. They're like, well, I have kids and shit. Fuck that. We're going to go to Suarez. It's going to be a 9-hour round trip. And we're going to sit there and we're going to drink 5% fucking Schwarz beer for 5 hours.
That's how you do it.
That is how you do it, actually. What else do you have? Electric Beer chiming in. Oh, yeah, New Belgian Dog Chadwick Wheat aren't really micros anymore. They are. They make micro beer, but in a macro world. French House saying, hey, Matt and Ruffalo. It's Scott from French House. Do you guys think New England IPAs will start to see a decline in popularity in 2020?
Yes.
No.
No.
Decline? No. Do I think because they're like this. They're like, still like this. Will they go like this? Maybe.
Yeah, I would see maybe not a decline, but a slight decline, maybe.
Let's rephrase this question a little bit differently. Do you see less people eating McDonald's this year?
Maybe.
Honestly,
no. I don't pay attention to this.
Do you see less people eating chocolate this year? Do you see less people doing things they viscerally enjoy this year? No. So, people like IPAs because it's, sweet, it's candy, and it's bitter. So it's like danger and pleasure at the same time.
Yeah, but I feel like the decline isn't because people are drinking less IPAs. The decline comes from they are seeking less IPAs from different breweries because they all taste the same.
Well, that's a valid point to make. So to expand on what you're saying is that more people who drink hazies, and this is what I would say, is that more people who are drinking or loving hazy IPAs are running that kind of beer life cycle I talked about, to where they eventually evolved, their palates evolved, they started enjoying different things, whether it be mixed fermentation beer or lager. But you have to understand there's still going to be a group of people graduating to beer for the first time who are just going to get into hazy. So that void is going to be filled by other people. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. Like the baby palates, I said it, motherfuckers. The people that just gotten a beer over the past 5 to 8 years are going to eventually evolve out of loving just hazy IPAs. There's a lot of people that'll turn their back on it. It is what it is. If you don't like it, have at it. But they'll evolve out of it and they'll like different things. But there will be a group right behind them diving right in. It's sugar, water, and bitter. I mean, who the fuck is gonna like that shit? Hatchy Malachi chiming in with New Jersey representative, love some Icarus. I do too. Jason's one of the coolest dudes in the brewing industry. So, what's your beard? Dropping some what up? Out of the 14 Trappers breweries globally, are there any you haven't tried? Yes, there are a very. Let's see. All of the Trappist breweries.
Was it belong to us?
There's a couple I haven't had, so I gotta find an updated list because it's actually changed a couple times. So you're talking about Westmalle. I've had Westmalle. West Wiedelen, I've had Chimay, I've had Koningshoven, which is the Trap. I've had Rochefort, Orval. Those I've had. Achel, I've had Sift Engsel. I've had Spencer in the States here. I've had the Zundert, which I can get, but I have not had those guys yet. Dre Fontaine I have had. Tin Meadow I have not had. Descants I haven't had. And then it looks like there's one, Descants and Cardin Trappist, it looks like they're still under their, like there's no information on them. So it looks like Cardin Trappist is new, and they're probably still earning their certificate, I believe. So I've had a good portion of them. All of the old guard breweries that I've had from the Trappist stuff. Have you had a good portion of these? Probably you've had a decent, probably half of those at least. Westmalle, you probably had. I probably shared Westmalle with you, so you probably had it. That's West Wiedelen. 12 or 8. You might have had that through me.
I've had Chimay.
Chimay, La Trappe.
I don't
Definitely, if I've shared La Trappe with you, I know I have. Rochefort, have you had? That's like my favorite.
I think
that's my favorite.
Probably, yeah.
You can get those all over. Orval.
I don't think I've had Orval. I've been trying. I'm on a no buy December.
Okay. I'm gonna have to change that.
Not to buy anything.
We're gonna have to make Keith chug Trappist beers all night once.
We do a live video.
Yeah. Michael, the Russian bot, said, I just had Industrial Arts wheat wine, non-barrel aged, and especially a barrel aged one, especially from awesome. Yeah. I mean, Industrial Arts, I dig their shit quite a bit. Nice to hear Allagash Brew included. I don't think I'll ever make a list where there's no Allagash, by the way. And that's not so much that I have like some kind of bizarro like brand loyalty. Yeah. It's just that sometimes you're a homer because you're a homer, and sometimes you're a homer because the shit's just delicious. Fox Farm's so good, and Zach, the owner, is a super nice guy. Good to hear. Fox Farm Brewery of the Year. I don't know. Allagash actually might be my brewery of the year, to be perfectly honest with you. Tom Davis with his yes. C71 was the one everyone was freaking out over. Okay.
Wouldn't be Fox Farm?
It probably is, but I haven't thought about it yet. So pick up Double Burst tomorrow if it's available. Oh, so good. Double Burst will be available tomorrow. Thanks. We have Flavor Overload. Hatchie says, seems like Belgian style beers are always great gateway beers. Gold Monkey and Route 4 by Flying Fish were for me. I mean, especially out this way in Jersey. Oma Gang's original stuff. Fuck yeah. Had an IPA adventure over the summer. I always came back to Counterweight Headway. I like Counterweight beers. Noma Gang. I wish they bring Noma Gang back. But I think that's it. Tint Meadow. Anyway, let's get back to this fucking list. Oh man, this is gonna be a long fucking night. We got crazy shit to open already. We haven't even opened anything.
No.
Get something crazy. Open some, Keith. Where are we at here? We were in the top 9. Number 9.
Hold on. Do you want stout or not stout?
I don't want an IPA.
I don't have any IPAs. So do you want stout or not stout?
What do you have? I want non-stout. Then we'll do a stout next. Okay. You open it up. We're going to be doing a little Libertine Wild Ale. Oh, this is not going to be super sour, is it?
You want not super sour?
You don't know if this is super sour? I don't remember the other one being super sour. Just open it. I love the other Libertine I had, so. Yeah, open it. Fucking open it, motherfucker. Anyway, we're up to number 9 here. We have, there's this brewery. They're kind of all right. Keith kind of likes them. They're called Muckraker Beer Maker. They're Sussex Wild Saison Spawn. You remember that one?
I don't, because
he doesn't.
I drank here and I left that bottle here and you drank it.
Really? Was that the one that you left here?
Yeah.
Was that the one I savored? I'll have to look it up real quick.
I think I still have a bottle of it, but I haven't. I
just open it. Yeah. So there's Muckraker Beer Maker is a kind of wild fermentation brewery by me. It actually is.
This is corked. So
you want to do that for you?
No, I got it,
baby.
No, I got it.
Dude, what are you trying to do here?
I got it.
It's gonna gush everywhere now. Anyway,
look, it's not gushing anywhere.
So Muckraker Beer Maker is a brewery that's kind of close to me. They open, what are they, like 40 minutes away?
From here?
Yeah, about 40 minutes away. And I interviewed the actual owner. Actually, me and Keith interviewed the owner. And super nice guy. Tom Troncone is his name. And he opened his brewery, and he's just like a lambic nerd. Like he loves the wild funky stuff.
This? You seen this?
Dark sourness is coming up in this piece. And I ended up reviewing the Saison Spawn, and I really enjoyed it. But it was one of my highlights of the year because I actually forgot to bring a bottle opener with me. I did it out by the view. Like I did it out when I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, okay, I don't have a bottle opener, so I broke out the old sabering skills for you guys out there, and I actually ended up sabering. Hit play. I don't know why it's not playing. There we go. I ended up breaking out the old sabering skills, and just so you guys know, you can actually open shit with a bottle. So a lot of these funky wine barrel aged stuff, you can actually pop the cap off if you do it right. You do that with a saber, like a knife and stuff like that. So it was like one of my kind of like, okay, I'm going to try this thing, and if it fucks up, I'm going to look like an asshole. And it actually worked out for the one time. It actually fucking works out. But that was one of my favorite ones, especially for the new brewery. Like I interviewed Tom at his brewery. What do we do it in February?
It was early this
Yeah. Beginning of the year.
March, maybe?
So you're talking about a wild fermentation, spontaneous brewery that is producing beers and producing not just decent beers, but really well done beers. Like we have one by us, a blendery called Referent, and I really do enjoy their beers, but they're quite new. They're quite green. I never got like a kind of like new thing off of Muckraker. I always got like a developed, like has a lot of depth, has a lot of maturity kind of beer thing from them. Now, markedly different beers. The Referendum shoots for more acidity. Tom's shooting for more of a lack of acidity, kind of fruit-forwarded lambic kind of thing. And it was absolutely fantastic. So one of my favorite beers, top 10. I would put it, even though it is in the top 10 as far as on this list, but in general, if I was going to make a top 10, I'd probably be on there. Apparently, I need to drink this beer, otherwise Keith's going to punch me in the fucking nuts. Let's go to number 8. Even though it's on the list, it's not my top 30. I should stop saying that. Wonderkamer beer folk costume. That's that Faro Ale. That's the one we did pick up. It's the one we picked up when we were up at the Hill Farmstead.
It's that one's folk costume 2.
Folk costume 2. There's something about the mouthfeel on the Wonderkamer beers that's like drinking like a cloud. That's what I remember. I mean, the flavors are fantastic, but it has that Suarez thing to where, like, and I've always talked about this when it comes to like sour, or I shouldn't say sour, funky beer. The reason why I like Suarez beer, the reason why I like Wonderkamer beer, and the reason why I like a select few is that when I drink it, like, it belongs inside of me. I know that's super creepy to say it that way, but it's not so much that it's like a Buffalo Bill, like I want to murder you and wear your skin as a fucking mask kind of thing. It's more so that like the pH balance in the beer is so in tune with the human body that when you drink it, there's nothing. It's not like your body's not reacting to it in any way. It's not like, oh, it's a little bit sour, it's a little bit bitter. There's flavor to it. You're getting flavor on your tongue, but once it passes your tongue, goes down that old mouth hole gullet, it's just the balance. The acidity is so perfect. It's just fucking amazing. So that would be that one. Next up, we have Other Half and Transmitter, the Crispy Waves Hellas. Didn't you give me that one?
Yeah.
That Listen, yeah, because the yeast profile on it was fucking awesome. Oh. Yeah, because it had transmitter yeast in it. That's why it was like blew me away. It was like, I expected it to be a base Hellas, but it wasn't. There was something to it, and it was just like blew me away because I think I went into it not realizing it was a transmitter beer. I thought it was just a Hellas from the Other Half, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? I'm like, this beer's awesome. Like, there's something else. And then I started looking at the can. I'm like, oh, fucking transmitter. Of course. They had their fuckduckery when it comes to yeast. And they just brought something else to the table and had that just crisp, clean, delicious, lagery Hellas awesomeness going on. And then you add that additional portion of yeast, which didn't overpower the beer, but brought something else to the element. I fucking love that beer. Anyway, number 6, a beer. I shouldn't say number 6. Why do I keep saying that shit? Next up, another beer which I am blown away that I never reviewed previously. Baby Elephant from Rushing Duck. I've been drinking Baby Elephant ever since my buddy Ben sent me one of the first beer barrels I ever received on the channel. We're talking, 2013, 14, whatever. One of the first people ever to send me a beer barrel was my buddy Ben. He lived up in kind of like the Hudson Valley area of New York. This is before Equilibrium, before fucking Hudson Valley, before all those breweries opened. Rushing Duck existed. And he sent me a couple pretty delicious beers, but one of them was their dog's bollocks from Russian Duck, and that was a big old ale. And that was absolutely fantastic. But ever since then, they've been making this Baby Elephant, which is like their lower ABV, chuggable, sessionable version of their hazy, and I've loved it ever since. And I have no idea how I've never reviewed it or reviewed it this year. It's awesome. Yeah.
How about that? That's good.
Yeah, I love that beer. I had to dive in this Libertine before Keith fucking blows the gasket.
Or before I drink it all.
And this is why he's like,
yeah. It's Doc. How do you say Doc?
Doc. The 5Ks. Yeah. And this is Libertine Saison Fonce. Rare wild ale. French oak barreled. Yes, we know it's sour. Done.
There's no indication that it would be
Doc. It's like drinking sour Coca-Cola. In a good way.
So good. Yeah.
Next up, we have Hop Butcher for the World. Their new.
Is that good, man?
What? What? That I just started talking afterwards? Fucking dude, we're an hour and 20 in, man. We only have what? Geez. We're only we haven't half an hour until the second portion of the next video is going to come up. For those that don't know, for those that are still watching, we still have my top shelfies video. What we're going to do here is we're going to do this video. We're going to hang out for a bit, jump off, take a quick squirt, come back, pop back on, do our shelfie videos. Hopefully we're still coherent at that portion of the show because, well, Keith picks random shit out of his glass. It is what it is. Anyway, Next up, Hop Butcher for the World, New Oklahoma. It was a hazy pale ale. I get a bunch of Hop Butcher stuff. Those guys send me shit all the time. It was part of my airing of grievances, the fact that I generate so many FedEx labels and don't actually ship them out. And it was like one of the things that pissed me off. This is really good. This is like, I love a real well done hazy. I love low ABV. I love pale ales. It was the perfect menage of all that deliciousness. So yeah, other half, then Russian Duck, then Hop Butcher. Next up, I'm going to probably be really high up on the stout category if I were to classify it. Look at this, guys. Mortalis Brewing was their As Above, So Below. This is Imperial. How good was that fucking beer?
Holy shit. So, I completely forgot about it. That's one of my top 5. That might be the top of the top 5.
Yeah, we came back. We went to Shelton Brothers Festival in Buffalo, and the Mortalis dudes have been mad cool. They've I've chatted with the owners and they've sent beers to me over time, but I've never visited a brewery. It's like, decent amount away. And then we went to Shelton Fest, and then we're like, I gotta go there on the way back. And I was like, I gotta go. And we went there and we hung out with Paul. We kind of took us around, and when we sat down and had a beer, was that the first beer you had out of the chute?
What, this?
Because did we have that at the brewery, or was it just the cans? In the cans when we got back,
we just had I just had the cans. So that was the first. I think we did have a stout there, but it wasn't
that one. Yeah,
it wasn't that one.
And that was fucking. Yeah, it was fucking. It didn't suck. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I mean, their stout game is unlocked. Their hazy game is nice, and they don't blow me away. But as far as just in general. Their fruited stuff is quite cool. Their hazy is fun, but their stout game is fucking bonkers. Ridiculously tasty, and that one was so fucking good. Not even funny. Let's see. Next up,
you got a little
floaty in there. I'm sure that's coming from inside the beer. It's probably just yeast or a piece of the cork.
I don't know if it popped out.
That's where they keep the heroin. Anyway. Next up, we have Bellwoods Brewing. It's their Fodor Fermented Grisette. Did we drink that? Did I save that for you?
What was that?
Bellwoods, their Grisette.
You told me about it, and then you drank it by yourself.
I can't help that you weren't around. I try.
And then you told me
I saved
after
this
you
for
drank
you.
it.
I saved this. I saved table for you. Don't act like I don't do that shit. Anyway, it was like super low in ABV. My buddy George brought it down, and I just love that beer. It was so fucking good. It's just chuggable, low ABV deliciousness. I think in a review, I wouldn't even call it a grisette. I called it just a soft saison, a low ABV saison.
Wait,
was
that bottle aged or barrel aged, rather, or was it?
It was aged in a foeder, so it wasn't like a wine barrel aged, but it was a foeder fermented. So, and we only have two left. A little bit of conversation,
only
and
two left.
Yeah, only two left. and like I said, I'm doing this list based off of when I reviewed the beer, so it's not like a top 30, like 0, 30 to 1, or anything like that. But this beer, I would probably put up there, regardless of its position, as one of the better beers I had all year. And that was Brewster and Brewlahan Brewing Stratification Bourbon Barrel Aged Barley Wine. Now, barley wine. I can get double barley wine. I love me some barley wine. Barrel aged barley wine. Again, if it's done right, I can really fucking enjoy it. This is homebrew. Though, sent to me. Granted, it's a little bit above homebrew as far as.
Do you know anything about the other who they collaborated with?
What do you mean?
Is that a brewery or are they?
They're both the same. They're both guys. I would hesitate to call them homebrew. They're kind of like super micro brew, nano brew, or something like that, to where because they go to festivals and pour beer for people, but they don't produce beer and put it out and sell it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things.
But they're both basically on the same level.
Yeah, and it was just so good. That beer was so good. So good. Regardless, like strip the homebrew out of it. I'm trying to think like what barley wine would have put above it. Maybe the Gold Strap from Other Half. You know what I mean? Maybe. But it's like might have been the best barley wine I had all year. Fuck yeah, man. John from Brewster, and I forget his name from Brewlahan. It's just some of the better beers I've had. It just from the depth and complexity and the richness of the beer. Just absolutely fantastic. It just hit me all the right ways, exactly where I wanted to be hit, and just was an absolutely delicious beer. So, I'm doing my top 30 beers, not commercial, not homebrew, and like beers, and like that's the only homebrew that even sniffed this list. Again, even then, I would put it towards the top. Like if I was doing my old school kind of categorization of malty and hoppy and funky and all that kind of stuff, I would put it. It'd be very, very, very close up top of that list. So keep that in mind. Homebrew, that fucking good. It's fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. And number one, what was the number one beer of the year?
Side project table beer.
Table beer. Want to know why? It's 2.4% or 2.5 or whatever the fuck it is. Less than 3%.
Yeah.
Love that beer.
That's a forever beer.
Yeah, that's like
That's
like I want it in my faucet. And I put my faucet out, clean my dishes, drink it.
You can literally clean your dishes with it. Probably.
Might as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I like Side Project. I mean, some of their stuff is a little too aggressive on the acidic side. Some of their stuff is a little bit whatever. But as far as that table beer went, and honestly, if it was 4%, I might not include it on this list. It might be in the list, but not as touted. But the fact that it was 2 and change. Now, granted, we're coming off fucking 450 North line about ABV, so I'm not going to sit here and kind of bang home like, yeah, it was fucking 2 and change. But if
to be fair, that the 450 North thing is fruited beer, not just
beer, actual beer.
Base beer.
It's so good.
Beer.
So good, man. I love that fucking beer.
He actually saved that one for me. He said he was going to save the Brewster Ale barley wine stuff for me, but he didn't. So.
Fuck this guy. Fuck him. All the comments have stopped. Does that is it smell-o-vision right now? Nobody wants to chime in anymore. So yeah, that's my best beers of the year, top 30. I'm sure I've missed something. I always miss something, and then like a month later, I'm like, how the fuck did I miss that beer? So it kind of angers me, but I'm cool with it. I feel okay with it. I mean, we hit a lot of the beers that I really did enjoy from this year. Let's cut it over to Keith. Let's get a little bit of Keith up in this piece. Shoot from the hip. Give me a top 5 for you. You don't have to hold yourself to it, but
top 5. I don't even know if I can name that many. The Mortalis, the stout, as above, so below. I believe that was
yep.
King Julius, I had for the first time this year, and I really like that. I haven't been big into hazies, but that was like, I can drink this. Oh, speaking of hazies, Equilibrium's Photon. I just drank that the other night.
It?
Yeah, or yesterday.
Yeah. You like that one more than Time, yeah? Okay.
Yeah. Time came off weird to me. And then I'm sure it's probably some
English mild.
Yeah, some Bond Place, something English mild.
Suarez English mild.
Yeah, something. It's probably the other two are probably lagers of some sort.
From the mouth of babes, or should I say, from the mouth of the guest host, is reminding me of the guy from Motorhouse that gets his throat ripped out MacGruber style by Patrick Casey. So you look like the evil guy. He's like, I used to fuck guys like you in prison. I'm like, he reminds me. You remind him of that guy. Like, I fucking ripped his throat out. So that's basically where Keith.
Jerome's asking if I'm gonna do a mystery beer. I'm not good at mystery beers. It would not be any sort of. It would be if Matt was on camera with me, he would kind of be like, "Oh, this tastes like," and I would be like, "You're right," because I couldn't say that by myself.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a mystery beer where I'd sit there and drink and don't say nothing, and let Keith say everything, and then at the end I'll tell him what I think. You want to do that live right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I guess if you want to.
Go get a mystery beer.
Do you have? Is there?
Just grab whatever glasses. We'll do a mystery beer. We'll make Keith do a mystery beer right now. It doesn't matter which one. Just grab any of them. We'll do a mystery beer right now. Let Keith talk about it, and then I'll tell you guys how wrong he is. While he's doing that, we'll jump into the comments here. So I had a 2018 Tint Meadow yesterday with my Christmas dinner. Got 2017 Orval from New Year's. Chimay Grand Reserve is next on the hit list. Frank is like, don't get any cork in that beer. I'll put all the cork I want in that beer. Tom Davis is like, I remember the first time I removed the cork from a bottle. I remember the first time I had my first beer. Yeah. My corkscrew broke last Sunday night. I had to go with a screw and a mini nail puller. That's how you know. That's why you got to get the saber action on. So you just blow that cork out, blow the glass and cork out of there. I have opened a corked topped bottle with a key. I've opened with a crazy amount of weird shit. Also works for wax tops. Are there any chances we see Keith doing a mystery beer? You know what, Jerome? In case you missed it, we're gonna see it right fucking now. You guys are gonna have a long night. Well, long night and good night. You smell like you guys are gonna have a good night. Really weird. Ruffalo and Buffalo. The Ruffalo and Buffalo, Keith. That's fucking. I like that, Caleb. Thank you very much. And then we have Pacoma. Guest host is reminding me of the guy from Roadhouse. We talked about that. And then we have Mesmerized by the Magnificent of Beers from Michael Mike of the Russian bot. You should capitalize THE. So we're getting one of these. He's pulling out a papered mystery beer. So by paper, I mean like old school mystery beers. If you guys would go back to my earliest mystery beers that I got from Keith, oddly enough, which is the funniest part, is that they're wrapped in like a paper bag. And since then, the mystery beer has evolved mostly to, I don't see, I usually keep like a blank can of mystery beer around here. So here it is. most mystery beer has graduated to this beautiful paper towel format, which I'm a fan of. But the OG mystery beer wrap was paper bag, and it's kind of gotten in the way of the dodo. Hey, hi Taco. I can't point the camera at you, buddy. It's a little bit kind of stuck in place. Taco just said hi to me, by the way. Anyway, Keith originally wrapped them in the brown paper bag, and I haven't seen it in quite a while. My buddy Chris did it a while ago, but Drew and Dean from the Westville Liquor Mart. Keith breaking everything. Don't worry about it. Sent me a bunch of mystery beers and regular beers, and they were wrapped in this sweet. That's like what you originally did, right?
Yeah,
like
mine was just brown paper.
Yeah, so it has the paper tape, but it has nice brown paper on it. So let's see how Keith does in this mystery beer. Let's see what we got. What color is it gonna be? Oh, what do you think that is?
The hazy IPA.
I think it's a sour.
Maybe.
I think that might be a sour.
It is a little effervescent.
I mean, it's probably a hazy. There's something about it lets me think a little bit of tartness is going on. Have at it, Keith. It's all you, brother.
There is tartness.
Is there?
Yeah. All right. I've never done this before, kind of. It smells like
I'm not even going to smell or taste anything until he does this whole spiel.
kind of smells like Coca-Cola, but like a fruity stone fruit kind of tart with the tartness. I'm getting like soda vibes off of it.
That could be the other beer we were drinking, kind of making you think that. That's
Maybe.
the one poopy part about mystery beers. You drink a bunch of different beers that kind of affects your palate. Dive in. So you're thinking like a fruity soda vibe, like almost like a Mexican cola, to where it's like a fruited kind of soda thing. So I'm assuming bright carbonation. You just snort something. Yeah, I do that all the time. So I'm assuming like a fruited cola is what he's talking about from like South America.
It's like peaches.
Goya.
Peaches, yeah.
Goya.
Oh shit.
Orangina.
Papaya.
Yeah.
I'm getting papaya.
But Goya, like the producer of like Mexican fruited colas.
Papaya or guava or something.
Okay.
Or like a soda kind of. Tart.
Suspense is killing me.
It's tart. It's definitely tart. I can't place the fruit, so I'm gonna stick with like guava or papaya.
What? Give me a basic beer style and a basic ABV. Like is it a Berliner Weiss? Like a kettle sour? Is it a real sour?
Kettle sour.
Okay. What do you think the ABV range is?
Yeah, probably Berliner Weiss. I would like this to be like right around 5.
You'd like it to be, but what do you think it is?
Probably like 12. No,
between 5 and 12.
No, probably. If I had to guess, I'd probably say 6, maybe. Okay. 6-ish, 6.5.
Is there something to it beyond beer? Like, is it just malt, hops, yeast, and water?
There's a fruit in there, but I can't
peg the fruit.
It's a tropical fruit. Like I said, on the nose it was like papaya, guava. I can't place it, but it's there in the taste.
6% kettle sour, fruited.
Yeah.
Okay. Take a sip of water.
Oh, I should have done that.
It's there. It was up to you whether you want it or not. Well, it's definitely a Berliner Weiss, I can tell you that much, because it smells like fucking funky sulfur farts. Tell me that doesn't smell like sulfur, like someone blew out a match?
It does now that you say it, but
There's something weird going on there. See, and I know exactly where he's coming from, because every ounce of my being wants to say passion fruit.
passion fruit. That's what.
No. But there's something. No, it's something beyond passion fruit, because there's something else to it. There's like there's a weird adjunct in here, like almonds or like fucking like nut butter or something fucking weird. Like it's not
fruit.
No, well, no, there's fruit in there, but then there's something on top of that. Yeah, there's something else. So it's somebody's like, it's high in ABV too. You're right. It's like 6, if not higher. It's like pushing 7%. 7% kettle sour. With tropical fruits, there's like passion fruit, like guava leaning, but then there's something like weirdo to it, like almost like marshmallow fluff or something like weird. Like there's something like they put like cereal in it, like Apple Jacks or something. No, that's what it comes off to me, to where there's something fucked up in there. So let's see what we got. You have anything else to say?
I don't think it's as like fucked up as you say it is, but
Apple Jacks. New Image Brewing whole load of melon.
Whole load of melon.
It's a mixed culture sour ale with watermelon, lime, chili, and salt.
I get
so. It's the chili. Yeah, well, chili doesn't mean heat though.
Yeah.
Because you can have non-spicy chili.
Oh yeah.
So there was something. I mean, well, if you're gonna say a mixed culture sour ale with, it's obviously not mixed. I don't think it's. Well, it's mixed culture. If you put 2 different cultures, then it's gonna be a mixed culture. But this is, if you're saying this is a goza. Listening, you're adding salt to the fucking kettle sour and repitching yeast to carbonate. It's a fucking goza. I get the watermelon part. That part I actually don't. The watermelon lime. I get that, because the watermelon's probably the weird part for me, because watermelon usually don't get all that much, but it's organic. It's not like a synthetic kind of. Yeah. It doesn't taste like Jolly Rancher. It's actually like watermelon water. Like they brewed it with the juice from watermelon as opposed to water. The chili, I think, is the thing that really kind of made me kind of be like, what the fuck is that thing? Like there's something in there that I can't really peg on. So that was a cool one. That's actually a really fucking weird beer to do as a mystery beer.
7.5.
What is it?
7.5.
What did I say? I said I said higher.
I said 6.5.
Yeah, I said no higher, like 7+ or something like that. So yeah, you could get that kind of higher ABV on it. But I had this New Image Brewing. Actually, I recorded it. I didn't actually post the video yet. That'll be quite a bit till it actually comes out. But I had one of their pale ales. It was called Single by Choice, and I think it was a single hop beer. I forget what hop it was. From the same guys from the Westvale Liquor Mart, and it was fucking awesome. Like it was probably one of the better pales I've had in quite some time. I'm not gonna sit here and say I really enjoy this beer, but it's really interesting. It's like it's actually probably one of the more funner mystery beers you could do, and probably one of the worst challenging mystery beers you can give somebody for the first fucking time. So I kind of feel bad for Keith, but I think he did really, really well. You know what I mean? That's the other part. It's like if this is probably the hardest mystery beer I've done in a while, and he did pretty well on it. So I'm cool with that. So there you go. There's your Keith mystery beer for you guys.
Start my own review channel.
There you go. It's the 86. What is it? Is it 84 garbage or not? 80,
no, it's
86 garbage or 94 93 lumber. 93 lumber beer reviews. Anyway, so shit is gonna get off the rails relatively soon. Listen.
Oh yeah.
We are at 6:50, and so we're almost 2 hours in here. We're going to cut off. We're going to cut this video short or put a cap on it. And we're going to come back and we're going to do our shelfie list. We'll go back and forth, do much of the same thing. We'll crack some more bottles. That one might go a little bit longer because it's only 10 beers. You're only going to have 10 beers to go through. Then we'll open it up, do a little bit of chat and stuff like that. So stick around, not in this video. We're going to cut this one short. Stick around, go back to the channel, see the new one that actually pops up. And then we'll come back. We'll do a little bit more, hang out, have some fun, crack some bottles. Keith's got some pretty tasty stuff to open up, and we're gonna come back. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show so far. Hopefully you come back for the next one.
See you soon.
Hopefully you you like chili and
Watermelon
and all kinds of fucked up shit. And hopefully see you in a couple minutes. Peace. And they make you hit